a bit of controversy. The blame game has started. That's how I basically feel right now about what I say I go on. Immediately after the game this week, what was that? Wednesday? The media caught up with Michail Ricketts and he was basically saying he got no support, bemoaning the fact that the fans weren't there. Immediately after they spoke to Babsy Grange, who contradicted what he was saying, that the government is trying all the best to support the Reggae Boyz. Despite how one may feel about that, that's what she was saying.
I think they played well. There were some moments that they missed, but I don't think it had anything to do with having spectators or not having spectators.
We have only qualified for a global tournament at the senior level once. I think that this federation has done well. We have qualified the girls and we are looking to do so again. But people need to understand how limited our resources are. You need to look around CONCACAF and see the level of support that these countries would have gotten. I mean, we are virtually on our own.
That is absolutely not true. We've always supported the Jamaica Football Federation in all their programs, and we have given them maximum support. In fact, they have had more support than any other sport in Jamaica.
And after all of that, and how we feel about the fans not being there, we see so many people, even the players themselves, come out and say it was such a blow not to have the fans there. So many games and referee decisions and things like that, Eddie, that could have been swayed, but just by having the fans in the stadium. And then we see towards the end of last week, an announcement that 10,000 vaccinated fans will be allowed into the Gibson Relays. Is it Gibson Relays, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was very shocking, but then at the same time, it wasn't shocking because we all know the love that the government and Jamaica and the whole has for track and field. And I think at this time, they're more in love with track and field and getting those track events off the ground, than qualifying to a World Cup. I don't know which is bigger. Obviously, I think the World Cup is a bigger event. Yeah. But, I don't think they're looking at the bigger picture. Maybe there's something in it for them. Monetary wise, that's my only thing because nothing has changed. The cases are still high. The variant is still floating around. I don't see what's the difference. What could have changed over the past couple of weeks? They said before it was irresponsible to be hosting such event. A Reggae Boyz game would be irresponsible.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, Don't get us wrong, We're not saying the Gibson Relay shouldn't have 10,000 fans, What we are saying is that the Reggae Boyz should have had at least the 5,000 they were asking for. Am I correct? Is that what the GFF was asking for? 5,000, half of that, right?
Right.
So I don't see the sense in it. It's hypocritical. So and I don't know who is responsible for that decision. I understand how important track and field is to Jamaica. We are all fans of track and field. We cover track and field on this channel just as much as how we cover football. But we're talking about being fair, right? And if we're going to be fair, we're talking about Gibson is a staple, yes, and we'll have it every year. But we're talking about a World Cup qualifying campaign. This is an event. Or these matches. I don't know if them understand that CONCACAF isn't. If 1998 was a spectacle, this would have been a bigger spectacle because you're talking about CONCACAF have some of the biggest players in the world right now. You understand? You go through Mexico, Canada, Jamaica itself, Costa Rica, although they might get old. You see players there that are household names. You understand? In most of the teams. And when I talk about players that, especially if you look at the US and Canada, you talk about teams that are playing for Champions League, players that are playing Champions League football and them things. You understand? Or top English league ballers and them things in the case of Jamaica. So you will attract fans. I know people that want to go watch a Sergi Dest, a McKinney. You understand? A Raul Jimenez. You understand? There are people like Jonathan David. So it's not about only for wanting to go see Leon Bailey and Michail Antonio and Damian Lowe and Blake.
Yeah,
and
man,
them,
you're correct.
you understand? And this is money going into the pockets of GFF and local football. Even though it's not the full 30,000, but the 10,000 tickets could have helped. We know, so we'd have to probably pay more for them, just to make up the numbers, to be honest.
Yeah,
but we wouldn't mind. We wouldn't mind.
No, man.
You understand?
The real fans wouldn't mind paying the extra.
So it's really, I don't understand it. I'm baffled. I don't know where you're going. What am I going to tell you?
It's staggering. It's hard to explain, really. I really want somebody to really come out and explain this to us. Because they got the approval, so whatever, in terms of their protocols, it was good enough for them for the game against USA.
Yeah.
All the protocols were right, and they hosted the game with 5,000 fans.
Yes. No.
So I don't know, all of a sudden, no issues. And I believe it's the same protocol, so I don't see why it would be turned down now.
And
they're saying, oh, well, the protocols are for the track event. So it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. It's one of the things that definitely contributed to the team not qualifying, I think. Definitely. Because one of the main reason we got to the World Cup, the one and only occasion, is the strength that we had in the office. You take that away, that team not going anywhere. You understand? So it's just unfortunate that it had to play out that way. When I was see the players, the fans, everybody looking at it sideways. I think the minister, she never understand the assignment.
No.
You understand?
She went to class though because she was present for the game. She went to class, but she didn't understand the assignment.
She never understand that assignment at all. Desmond McKenzie, him come out and say it would be irresponsible. I guess it's not irresponsible 2 weeks later. No, it's just confusing. Any final thoughts, my friend?
Well, just to say, it's very ironic that back in '98 we qualified, unbeaten at home with our fans, and no, we haven't won a game at the office with no fans pretty much. So it's very ironic. So, all in all, we have to just push on and try to get, we as vloggers need to really continue to pressure, these people to make sure we get football, where it belongs, up there with track and field at least.
Yeah, I think. Well, I have to give credit where credit is due, and not patting myself on the back, because I came and I saw a lot of you guys in this space doing this work. And if it wasn't for some of these channels, the Reggae Boyz, nobody would know about nothing about them more than so, unless you are a die-hard fan. You understand? I think a lot of interest that and the work that the guys that are doing, that are vlogging, them keep the fans in touch with the team more than the newspaper, more than the TV, more than the GFF itself. You understand? You get Reggae Boyz information, breaking news. So that show that there's interest out there. So you can't act like there's no interest in the football. To tell me, say, yo, you can't let in 5,000 fans. Wade.
Yes, sir.
Serious question. Now, in an interview the other day, president of the GFF, Michail said that seeing how the World Cup qualifying campaign has turned out, there's a strong chance that we might not see back some of the English players for now. Quite possibly we might not see back some of them again, especially some of the older ones, right? Also, Paul Hall was asked the same question, and especially when in regards to this World Cup campaign, and this is what he had to say.
Are you concerned that, in the next set of World Cup qualifiers, if we're out, that, the president said that we may have to refrain from calling UK-based players to to the team to save money? Are you concerned that you won't be able to pick your strongest team going forward? I'll let you answer that question before I ask my second one.
Okay, so I think what happens is we have to reflect on all our performances, including me, of my performance. And what that means is, since I've played, I think probably the best performance-wise, to answer Roger's question as well about players handling the ball under pressure. A good performances have come from the Peru squad. So yes, if we can't call on players from there, this is going to be a long-term thing where, you know, there's going to be a certain rebuilding have to go on at some stage, and we've got to see it that way. Like we say, if we can't call, that we can only operate under the constraints that we're placed under. If we can call players who add value to what we're doing, excellent. But if we can't, then we just have to operate under the constraints that we're operating under.
All right, Wade. Now, me and you are going to discuss. So it's a matter of, I guess, finances. I guess it would not be financially prudent to send for these players, but it come back down to cohesion.
Right.
Again, the lack of cohesion. I understand that, yeah, you might have to bring in some younger players, but there are certain players that you have to, especially those that you see going forward, building the team around. You know what I mean? What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, my opinion is definitely that. And I mean, right now, you know, when it comes to national football, finances really should not be such a big deal as it is now, especially for a team that's already qualified for the World Cup, you know, and a country that's allegedly has the best performing stock market in the world. I mean, really, you know,
I mean, private sector is doing well.
The private sector is doing well. So it's either JFF is doing poorly in securing funding, which I wouldn't doubt if that wasn't the case. You know, or it's just that they themselves are very poor at you know, spending what has been allocated, but that cannot be an excuse. But yeah, cohesion is definitely key. We need to bring in a large player base together as possible, so that, you know, not only to, you know, determine who is the best available, but so that everybody gets to know each other, everybody gets to gel, because with the way the world is now, you'll never be able to consistently call the same team. So if a man gets the call up, he should be familiar with the side. He should come in and not only him be familiar with them, but the team be familiar with him and know his positives and his negatives. And know, boy, you know, we had a drop in, you know, say, you know, same pace not good, but you can give to him on any foot, no matter. You know what I mean? Those are the things that matter. You know?
It's true. It's definitely true. I think now the job is to identify who you want to move forward with. It would make sense to probably be spending a lot of money on some of the older players. 1 and 2, you might have 1 and 2 exceptions. You might want to keep Michail around. He's an exceptional player, although he's 31 now.
Yeah. But that type of athlete, you know, he'll be prime. Next 5 years, he'll definitely be prime to play, you know, for sure. Yeah,
he might be able to take some part. Ethan Pinnock is 27, 28. You keep him around. Greg Lay is probably 27. You keep him around. Then but
Sir
Kevin
Leon
Stewart.
for sure.
Huh?
Sir Leon for sure. Still young.
Leon is very young. You have young King. Javane is young. We definitely have to try to find a good young keeper, or get one of our younger keepers exposed or out there playing at a higher level. Another thing I want them to do is stop selling our players short to some inferior leagues. We have a lot of talented players that waste their career in leagues that don't benefit them financially, career-wise, don't give them the proper status that they deserve. You know what I mean?
I think Jamaicans need to also come out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the MLS is very attractive to them because it's
It's not even the MLS. Home. If there were some more of them in the MLS, it wouldn't be so bad. But I think the USL is really doing them injustice. And so also for the Canadian Premier League, I just don't. Not to bash anybody. You have to make a living. So if you get an opportunity, you take it. But for example, seeing young Junior Fleming move from the USL to Toulouse, the second division in France, I think that is a great move. I think that is the kind of exposure that he need, the kind of football where he need to be playing. You understand?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so definitely we need to try to move our kids towards those kind of opportunities. Not everybody going to go to the English Premier League or whatever, or the first divisions in certain countries. But like we see young players going to Denmark, places like that. If we could get some more players over to like Greece, you know what I mean? Belgium, more players over to Belgium. Scottish Premier League, the said Championship, the League One. Those are good leagues for young players to cut their teeth in. That is where the bigger English clubs send their players, their younger players. So you would be amongst good young players. I mean, you know. Yeah, I see my video going in and out, so it means we probably need to wrap this one up as well. Wait. Yes, any final thoughts?
No, definitely. It goes back to what Coach Schaefer has been preaching about development.
Yeah.
I think if we're not going to develop it local, we definitely need to develop the systems and programs in place to do exactly what you've been saying and find these young footballers programs in leagues that are promising. You mentioned the Eredivisie, you know what I mean? But why not even South American leagues? I mean, I know the competition.
Exactly.
The competition is stiff, but this is just the Caribbean. The South American league is huge. You must can find a spot.
Yeah.
You know, so I think. And that type of exposure. Imagine a Jamaican baller going to South America learning Spanish. The chances of him moving to a Premier League now is way better.
Yeah, or in
because
Europe.
Now in Europe, for example, for that matter.
Yeah.
So we need real. That's why I go back to what I said earlier. Jamaicans need to step out of them comfort zone. We need to look at those places as a viable option. Yeah. And then I'm going to take out my old beating stick again, JFF. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the
local clubs,
the rest of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Right? Why haven't the Caribbean? I mean, we need to really realize that we need to come together more than those Carifta. And CARICOM. I mean, even CARICOM is a joke, right? It's really just us out there, Caribbean people, like really and truly. Nobody not understand our thing like we.
Yeah.
I speaking in Pato right now, but if you're watching this show in Trinidad, you're understanding exactly what I say.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just us, really. And we used to. What happened today with KC Kingston Lions versus TT Hawks, where that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Those matches probably play now. We don't know anything about that. We need to revitalize that culture again.
Yeah. What's that? I don't know about that. What was that?
What? Kingston. That was a football competition that played all the time. We used to watch it all the time, and I don't know the details.
Back when was that?
Young.
What was that?
Like late 80s. That just dated myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Mr. Primo Vision. That's it, folks. That's a wrap. Man. TT Hawks versus Kingston Lions was a big match that was always earlier than JBC, and a lot of people used to watch that. Yeah, man, for sure.
Wow.
We need to see more of that.
Yeah, man. Definitely. You know why I agree with you? Because there's definitely a stigma against us in the CONCACAF. We get treated badly. We're refereed against.
Exactly.
We're set up to be like Like even Warren Barrett said it in the other day in an interview. Even the competitions are set up for the USA and Mexico to meet in the final.
To win. Yeah, exactly. You know, so we need to have better representation that they have to deal with us serious. You know.
Yeah.
So why?
Yeah, we're kind of straight off topic, but there's a lot of things to discuss. But I'm glad we're kind of straight off topic as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to come because it's very important, and we might have to come back and discuss how do we improve Caribbean football on a whole, not even just Jamaica Reggae Boys.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? If we are the standard and we perform like that in the qualifiers, then there's a lot of work to do. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
All right, welcome back, guys. Some more Reggae Boyz news. Reggae Boyz captain Andre Blake is making a plea to the JFF and the authorities in charge of the team selection not to go ahead with the plan to not call the overseas players. In a article by the CNW network, that is Caribbean News Weekly, Blake is quoted as saying that he believes that if Jamaica seriously want to compete at a higher level for the 2026 FIFA World Cup final cycle, then the authorities need to keep the nucleus of the team and get it together to help the gelling process as often as possible. The team captain also says he feels good and young at heart and wants to play at the international level for at least another 10 years. I hope everybody can realize that we have a chance now to start preparing for the next one. World Cup cycle in quotations, and we need to have a group of guys that stay together for the next 5 years, and then we will definitely have a better campaign, Blake offered. Blake reflected on the final round saying, I'm always willing to play. We still have a chance to build again, and I'm going to say one thing, and it's very important. We are playing against teams that have been building for 5 or 6 years, and we are very new. Things like these happen. You don't just build a team in 1 week or in 1 month or even in 1 year. You need time, a lot of time. And for us, now, if we want to have a chance for the next campaign, it starts now. And we need to play together. We need to spend time together. And we need to suffer together. You have to lose before you start to win. So, wise words coming from the captain, Andre Blake. The team is a relatively new team. A lot of the players are very new to each other. And to expect them to go up against teams that are very seasoned and already have chemistry, no matter how big the names are in the team, chemistry is very important towards the success of a football team. All right, welcome back, people. Hope everybody is okay. Wade, how you doing, man?
I'm here, man. I'm good.
All right. Reggae boy Ravel Morrison. I just want to take about 5 to 10 minutes to speak on Ravel and the transformation that he has made from last year at this point, coming out of the transfer window where he failed to find a club, to now where he's settled in at Derby County, and to the point where it's hardly spoken about, but I think it is worthy of praise. And definitely a good look for Ravel. Hopefully he can continue. I know it's a 1-year deal at Derby, and there might be some minor issues within the club that don't really have anything to do with Ravel. You know what I mean? But it's a good look for his career, I think. And it hopefully he can build on it. And he has performed decent, had some different performances under Paul Hall. Especially the last game that we came out of. We had a very good first half. Jamaica losing 1-0 to Costa Rica, but I can see the progress, you know what I mean? And I think Ravel will probably be an important part of the team for next year or 2 or 3, you know what I mean? So, Wade, we have some news from the Derbyshire Live. Kind of a clickbait headline, but let's just skip past that and get into the meat of the article.
Is it a clickbait headline, or is this the media trying to stir up the fans, as it reads here by Mr. Ryan Conway? Derby County and the Ravel Morrison conundrum. The Derby County midfielder remains a source of frustration for the fans. This is a subheading right there. You can tell that he's trying to lead the readers one way, but then he opens up with praise. In many ways, Ravel Morrison has had a successful season so far at Derby County. The former Manchester United product has long caused frustration for his inability to stay on the field for one reason or another. If that's not a conflicting open two sentences, I don't know what that is. No such problems at Pride Park by all counts. He has been a terrific leader for a team containing huge amounts of youth.
Yeah.
His on-field product has also been rather good. The midfielder sits behind only Max Bird and Tom Lawrence for chances created, 17 for the season in total. He's tied with the biggest chances created, 3, and has completed 10 of his 17 attempted dribbles by Opta's metrics. He has also taken the second most shots on the team, 36, behind only Tom Lawrence. He has no doubt been a positive influence on the squad as a whole and has added something to Wayne Rooney's squad in an attacking manner. Full of praise there again. Yeah. But his last 10 league games have been something of a frustration, perhaps for everybody, as he has been relegated to coming off the bench for the most part. The frustrations boiled over with his lackluster substitute performance against Nottingham Forest in a 2-1 defeat, in which he was sent off in injury time for a rash challenge born out of frustration.
Yeah.
Prior to his 97-minute dismissal, Morrison had endured a limp afternoon, introduced on the hour with Derby chasing an equalizer while the game was still 1-1. Morrison was sloppy in possession, failed to provide much thrust going forward through some of what was also down to Forest's excellent switch up in shape to be for the middle of the park.
Let's be honest, I watched Forest beat Arsenal the other day. So
I was just thinking that exact point. I mean,
they played some good football. So let's
be realistic here, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and he keeps, even though he'd like to cast doubt in Ravel, he's always contradicting himself, because right there he's telling you how well Ravel was poor against Forest, even though Forest was brilliant and they played this and they switched up the shape, but it was all Ravel's fault, right? Anyway, so congesting areas Morrison likes to work in and put his defense in hot water. It signaled the latest in recent on-the-pitch inconsistencies for the 28-year-old. Rooney has admitted that in recent weeks for Morrison and Colin Kazim Richards, who had been coming off the bench too, it had been tough, but called their attitude in training first class.
Yes.
Which is important, but let's go on.
Because your coach is going to rotate your squad throughout the season.
Your coach is also looking for leaders to encourage the rest of the players, especially him being a senior man.
Yeah,
that's what he wants. That's really the fact that he's contributing to the team in such a high production rate is really a bonus to a coach who has such a young team.
Let me say, it's true. I agree with you. And
you know what I mean?
Show you why I see this as a good thing.
Because coaches normally have these players there mainly for leadership roles, but he's not only leading by example in training, but he's actually producing.
Yeah, and he's maintaining a good attitude even when it is rotation. Because the other thing is January is rotation time, brother.
Right.
If you consider the time of year, you just came out of probably the busiest part of the English season. December, where it's all about game after game after game after game. So there is going to be rotation. There are going to be lackluster performances. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if that is all that them have to complain about for a man who has had season after season of not completing a season with a team or not breaking into a team to the point now where he's a vital member, I think that is tremendous progress. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right.
Not to mention that he's obviously praising Ravel's attitude and commitment, which was his biggest detractor in the past.
Yes.
You know? So
I was one of the people that got up and said straight up around this time last year, if Ravel don't find himself in a club situation, it don't make sense him continue to play international football.
Or maybe even professional football for that matter.
You understand? So to see the man do this now, you have to give the man credit. You know what I mean? Get your career back on track. Stay out of the headlines. Just play your football. And all them can do is complain about probably a 1 and 2 time when you come off the bench and you're not up to it, or one occasion. But when you look and you go through the stats, you see a man who has settled in at a club and is doing well. And even if he doesn't stay at Derby County beyond the season, it's a good look for him moving forward because he has produced there. You understand? And he has focused on his work. So anybody else that would be looking at him, you understand, if Derby don't want to keep him within the group, would probably say, okay, I can take a risk on Ravel. He's an international footballer playing consistent international football. He's consistent at the club. He hasn't had any issues there with a club that has had its ups and downs with off the field issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's definitely a good look. So we can continue in the article.
And then as we continue, Mr. Conway is going to say, so clearly the attitude has not been a problem. So what is the problem, Mr. Conway?
Yeah.
Nor has been his form. So if it's not his attitude, what is not his form? What is it? Morrison created 4 chances in the last 5 league matches prior to November's 1-1 draw with Millwall, when he missed out through a suspension and has since only started 1 game. He also created 2 big chances across those 5 games and attempted 12 shots, the most on the team at that time.
Yeah.
So he's producing numbers, generally lively and sprightly in the team and dropping into clever positions between the lines and demanding the ball so he can create, sometimes in areas congested and aimed at stopping him from pulling the strings. Morrison had been steady, if not outstanding.
Yes, a career revived.
It perhaps throws into question if his recent usage is more down to style and personnel rather than form. Derby had won 4 of their last 5 games prior to defeat to City Ground, and in each of them they played with a more conventional 4-4-1-1 system as opposed to the often used 4-3-3 Rooney likes to deploy. With the emergence of Leon Thompson in midfield, who likely be the long-term replacement for the now departed Graham Shinney and Luke Plange, as well as Lawrence, being the club captain, top scorer, and often the most dangerous player for Derby, means he is nearly always assured of a place in the team. All of which means Morrison's place in the team is not written in ink in a way it would have perhaps been. One could ask if Morrison's defensive output is what's keeping him on the bench. Though defending is not his primary or even secondary job, at times he can be slack in the area of the game, and Rooney can ill afford to have a player become one-dimensional when fighting against such odds, thus reducing Morrison's impact for now to that of an impact substitute capable of unlocking tight events when the Rams are in the pinch. Morrison has largely been a solid contributor to the Rams. He said that the club was bright, and perhaps unfairly considering all factors, many believe he would provide all the cut and thrust that Derby so often lacked in the last 2 seasons before his arrival. Derby's fight against the odds in Championship still seems unlikely, but they have managed to reduce the gap to 8 points from safety and lifted themselves off the foot of the table thanks to a marvelous run of victories from 6 games. And remember, Derby was hit with some fine where they started with like negative 8 points or something like that.
I remember.
And hit with a transfer
and restrictions, transfer restrictions and all that.
Exactly.
Right up to the end of the thing there, I think they weren't allowed to bring in players probably until like the last of the window.
Transfer window, yeah. So this is exceptional. Mr. Conway continues. Morrison is still a part of the team, and with 18 games left, provided Derby are still in existence, then he is truly hoping they are. The former Manchester United prospect will be required if Rooney's men are to stage a great comeback. Let me read that again. The former Manchester United prospect will be required if Rooney's men are to stage a great comeback. So Mr. Conway, again contradicting himself, is saying that Morrison is actually going to be required if Rooney is to stage a comeback with Derby. Perhaps sending off.
Like when you read between the lines, anybody who follow football is the man obviously changed his style of play. You know what I mean? So the function of the players changed. I think he switched to a more where he wanted the team to be more solid defensively. in order to stay in the games. You understand?
Yeah.
I doubt he's going to apply the same tactic to every game. But maybe he felt like the run of games that he was on, he needed to do a change as players and then use Ravel differently.
Yeah, exactly. But Mr. Conway actually alluded that into the article as well, to say maybe it's not form, it's a strategy. He just mentioned it in a one-liner. This journalist knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually a fan of a rival club.
No, but hear what
or maybe
it's Ravel's name.
Ravel's name can sell the article.
Yes.
Or maybe an agent
controversial
youngster. Ravel probably holding a space for Alka Young Baller where agent was paying for say, yo, write a conundrum article. These opinions are not the opinions of Mr. Primo Vision.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Yeah, but for real though, when you look at it, like I said, when you look at the big picture, what Ravel has managed to do, how he's managed to go in, settling into the team. Coaches have got change them things throughout the season. It happens at bigger clubs with bigger players. So that is just natural. It happens for the Reggae Boyz where he doesn't start every match either. You know what I mean? So
definitely
that is not a big deal. What is good is that he has gone there and he has produced, and the numbers that even this journalist quotes can't be in there. All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. On some positive news, Jamaica's Michail Antonio has been nominated for CONCACAF Male Player of the Year. He is in a short list of 5 players. The 5 players are, like I said, Michail Antonio of Jamaica, that represents West Ham in the English Premier League. You have Jonathan David of Canada, from Lille in France, champions of France. Alphonso Davis of Canada, also from FC Bayern Munich of Germany. Irving Lozano from Napoli in Italy. Weston McKennie of Juventus in Italy also. Christian Pulisic of Chelsea in the English Premier League are the male nominees. There are also female nominees, and these are Crystal Dunn of the USA, Jessie Fleming of Canada, Lindsay Horan of the USA, Stephanie Lab of Canada, or Labe. Then another Stephanie Mayer of Mexico, and Christine Sinclair of Canada. Those are the female nominees. But congratulations to our reggae boy, Michail Antonio. The Jamaica Observer says only one Jamaican has been shortlisted for the CONCACAF newly created Women's and Men's Player of the Year award. The informed reggae boy Michail Antonio has been named among 5 other players in the men's section, and 6 women have separately been shortlisted for the award. A prolific scorer for his English club West Ham, Antonio joined the Reggae Boyz last year for their now failed World Cup campaign. However, his individual brilliance was not enough to prevent the boys from crashing out of the 8-team tournament. The ultimate winners in the 2 categories will be decided by the voters of national team head coaches and captains, the media, and fans. Fan voting is now open via concacaf.com. So you hear that, guys? Go out there and get your votes in for Antonio. CONCACAF has advised that the 2021 nominees were selected based on performance statistics and voting by experts panels consisting of former professional men's and women's players and football broadcasters. So to be eligible to be on the shortlist for these awards, all players have to have met one of the following criteria: have played for a CONCACAF member association senior men's or women's national team, and played in a CONCACAF and FIFA competitions and matches, all right? Regardless of nationality, played for a club in 2021 in CONCACAF and FIFA sanctions top division, men's and women's professional league. All right, guys, so there you have it. Congratulations. Hopefully we can get some votes in there. I know I will be going to the website to cast my vote for Michail Antonio. I advise that if you're a Reggae Boy fan, that you do the same. All right, welcome back, everybody. Wade, blessings. Hope everything is going okay, bro.
Likewise. Hope we can all get back to normal.
All right. So what we're about to do is a special feature in terms of the Reggae Boyz prospect. I want to give this player some special attention. A young player that is in the stages of his career now that is showing a lot of promise, and he's getting noticed across Europe. All right. The player that I'm talking about is Jed Spence. All right. Arsenal fans might know Jed Spence. Leicester fans should know Jed Spence. His season at Forest is going really well, and it has attracted interest from Tottenham, Arsenal, and some other top clubs around Europe. All right, wait. So I'm going to introduce you to Jed Spence. Cool?
Yes, sir.
But you should know him.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I'm so narrow-minded. I really don't care about the opposition. But I mean, one thing I do know is that Nottingham Forest has been upsetting teams, and Mr. Spence playing in the right back position must be an integral part of that, because he's playing in a side who's beating supposedly bigger teams, right, than Nottingham Forest. Let's face it. So that means they are playing from the counter, which means as the right back, he is doing all the important work, defending, absorbing the attack, and countering effectively.
I can tell you from what I've seen against him against Arsenal, he handled Gabriel Martinelli very well, better than a lot of more experienced right backs that I have seen go up against him. I've seen him destroy Man City's right back, and Jed Spence gave Martinelli a headache all night. All right, so let me do a quick intro. According to Wikipedia, all right? So it's Jed Spence, Diop Tehuti Jed Hotep Spence, born August 9, 2000. You know who else born August 9?
You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Leon Bailey.
Oh, for real?
So it's scientifically proven that if you're born August 9, you can play.
You're a baller.
So he plays right back for Championship club Nottingham Forest on loan from Middlesbrough, not Blackburn. Apologies to Middlesbrough. All right, cool. Well, so Spence is the younger brother of actress Carla Simone Spence. Brother, if you've never seen this woman, Google her. She is beautiful. No disrespect, Jed, but you know how it go? All right.
Carla Simone.
And here's the important part now.
I joke, baby. I'm not Googling her.
Here's the important part now, wait. Jed is of Jamaican descent.
Really?
Right? Yes.
With a name like Hotep, I was expecting something
African.
Eastern.
Africa,
you know?
Right? Yes.
Definitely on that continent, for sure. Like North Africa, you know?
Diop Tehuti.
Yes, that sounds up North African, Somalian, there, you know,
I'm
Egyptian,
sure
whatever.
He probably has some African lineage.
Yes. Yeah.
So, on loan from Middlesbrough, made his debut for Middlesbrough on July 1st, 2018. All right.
Yo,
he was previously
do a deal. Just let them have my boy, them Balagan, and we take this youth.
He was formerly with the Fulham Academy, all right? But before that, he was, no, I don't know it's before or after, but he also came through the South London Elite Football Academy, I think it's called.
I know he's looking on his current run of form on Sofa Sports. He's in a little peak because he got a 7.3 against Derby on the 22nd of January. And a 7.4 against another championship team on the very next match on the 25th. So, you know, he is really excelling right now, you know. He's definitely in a good recent run of form. And for 21, he is, I mean, any big club, look at, I mean, I'm seriously saying, somebody needs to look at this guy. He would be a good young. He's right about to take off.
You know, who I think now would be the time. This guy, who? Jamaica Football Federation.
I agree with you there. I would definitely
If you're
agree with you
talking
there.
about the future moving forward, right? This is a guy that has to be in the contention with Javan for that role.
Definitely.
You understand?
Definitely.
That is if he's interested. But if you think about the English setup, England is spoiled for choice in those positions, both right and
Exactly.
left back.
That is what that
So
is very true.
this is a realistic prospect
Right.
at this
JFF.
point. You understand?
JFF needs to hire Mr. Primo Vision, or at least watch, like, and subscribe. You know, Master JFF, get on the game. You find out information yet? In the meantime, let me read some of the stats and so forth.
All right, go ahead, because I've not seen it come up. Go ahead.
Him for this so far, he played 25 matches. Started 24 to 25.
Mm-hmm.
Average minutes 87 minutes per game. So
Yeah.
he is a rock on loan.
Yes.
He's a rock in the side on loan. Goals 1 for the season, right back, very good.
Yeah.
I mean, goals per game for his position 0.0, shots per game 0.8, which is almost 1 shot per game. So
Yeah.
every 2 games, you guaranteed an attacking threat from this player.
Yes.
Big chances missed 1. So he is creating, or at least getting into good positions.
Yeah.
Assists 1, touches 68, big chances created, those say. Key passes 0.8, accuracy per game 75%, accuracy own half 82%, accuracy opposition half 65%, which is expectable because he's probably, if he's overlapping into the opposition half, he's high up the field where they are compressed. Your passes are more than likely going to be intercepted up there.
Yeah.
Accuracy long balls, this is a weakness, 33%. Chip passes 30%, which currently I think Jamaica relies on a right back that can cross the ball good. He needs to develop there.
Yeah.
Interceptions per game 1.4, tackles per game 1.6, possessions 1.3, dribbled pass per game 0.6, clearances per game
0.6.
1.
0.6. So that means that he's every other game.
Yeah, he gets turned.
Yeah.
But here's some good defensive stats now. Error led to a shot 0.
Yeah.
Error led to a goal 0.
Yeah.
Penalties committed 0. So even though an attacker is getting past him 0.6% of the time,
Yeah.
he is recovering without making a mistake. That is an excellent statistic for a defender.
Yeah.
Successful dribbles 44%, totals duel 1 47%, ground duels 1 45%, aerial duels 1 54%. What is his height? 184 centimeters. That is like what? Like 5'10", 5'11", or so?
You need me to Google that? 84 centimeters in feet.
Yeah. That's bad.
6 foot flat.
6 foot flat, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Decent height for a footballer.
Decent for, and in England that's around average, yeah?
Yeah.
So 54% at 6 foot.
Yeah.
He's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Right? Possession lost though 18.9. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Fouls 1, was fouled 1.4. He's definitely an attacking right back. Very attacking. Yellow cards 2, red 0.
Okay.
Yellow to red 0. And that rounds up Mr. Jed Spence's statistics on loan at Nottingham Forest. I would say very impressive.
Yeah.
Obviously the coach thinks so because he's playing 87 minutes of 90% of the games.
Yeah.
99% of the games. You know, so
Yeah, man.
you know, very impressive.
At a very young age.
Yeah.
According to Transfer Market. All right, he is how old now? 21 years
21.
old. And he started playing professionally in 2018. He's starting 83% of the games.
No, he started 90. He plays for 87 minutes. But he started 24 to 25 games he played this season. And Nottingham Forest, how much matches I'm gone? 25 matches I'm gone.
Yeah, he has made 25 appearances, it says.
Right.
On
So
Transfer Market.
So he's right. Nottingham Forest play. Let me see how many matches they play for the season so far. Right. They have played. They have played. They are not so high in the championship though. Oh no, wrong arm.
So at 21, he's played well over 85, close to or just over 85 professional matches.
Oh,
that in itself shows you
right.
that the young man has
yeah, so Faris has played 29 games and he's played 25 out of that 29 games and started 24 of them. So he's 90, he's a rock in the team. A rock.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. But Faris struggling at 9th in the table.
It says on Wikipedia, it says he has made 98 total appearances professionally and scored 4 goals at 21 years old. That's impressive. And
especially for somebody who is young, underdeveloped. I mean, he's not been in a Premier League and he's at the right age to move up. Mr. Spencer, I say, hold your head down, sir.
Yeah. So the gist of the article was he's getting interest from, I think, Roma, Inter, if I'm not mistaken, Tottenham, Arsenal, and a few more Premier League clubs. So it's top
JFF,
tier.
get on your game. Get on your game.
Yeah, this is a player. This is why we approach this this prospect like this. I didn't want to do the 2-minute video for this young man. You know what I mean, Wade?
Yeah.
After seeing him play, if you guys haven't seen him play, if you can get a chance to watch how he performed against Arsenal, or I haven't seen the Leicester game, but I will be watching that shortly. So it's Nottingham Forest, all right? If you can catch any of those games from this season, take a look at this player. Yes, JFF, we're doing the scouting work for you. Yeah, Wade.
As usual, Mr. Primo with the eye. You know, that's why it's Primo vision. Not only the vision on the field, but vision in the scouting world. Cool, no?
Yeah, man. Impressive
Look, the
young
stats,
man. Yeah,
the
man.
stats on the Leicester game for people, you're suggesting people go and look at it, right?
Yeah.
Leicester had 62% ball possession for the entire match.
Yeah.
So Mr. Spence was under heavy work.
Good shot.
Right?
Yeah.
The total shots though that Forest managed was 12 shots with only 38 possession.
38%.
38% possession. That mean unless they weren't attacking down his side, but they must have tried the right. He would have been. They had more shots on goal than Leicester did. Leicester only had 11 shots.
Yeah.
They had 7 shots on target. Leicester only had 2. They outballed Leicester. And obviously, it was a counter-attacking type of ball that was super effective because they didn't super effective. They didn't have the ball. Yeah, they didn't have the ball.
And give them a hot one, love.
Yeah.
Send me home. You know what I mean? They're I think they're sitting in the middle of the table in the championship, but
they created 3 big chances and hit the woodwork once. Who's their coach? They have them playing some serious ball.
Is it there? It should be there on SofaScore.
Yeah, I gotta get the team info now.
It's at the top of the page, I think, or at the bottom where the players are. Yeah, man. But this is definitely one of probably 3 or 4 right backs, young right backs that qualify to play for Jamaica. To me, this is one of the more outstanding ones and probably one of the more likely additions and a long-term addition if you can get a player like this interested in the program. You know what I mean? The other thing that we have to think about is how attractive the program is right now.
That's you take the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. We'll keep touching on this. JFF need to definitely fix up where that is concerned. I need to fix up on every aspect. Logistics, planning, strategic planning, revenue earning, public relations, You know what I mean? I really don't know who the board needs to take control of what is going on with the JFF. The JFF needs to be operating at, listen, this is the standard now in the world.
You know what, Wade? They've never go down the road tonight. Well, I'll keep it on Jed Smith. The one last thing I wanted to say, he's from the South London Elite Football Academy that produced players such as Emil Smith-Rowe and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. If that's
triggered, bro. Triggered.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So, reggae boy Kaheem Paris, youngster out of Jamaica, 22 years old at the time of this video, is attracting a lot of attention across Europe, especially from Belgium, according to his agent. Now, the Gleaner, with a headline saying, Kaheem Paris grabs interest across Europe. FC Copper winger Kaheem Paris has been generating interest from clubs across Europe following standout performances in the first half of the Slovenian PRVA or Prava Premier League season. Paris, one of the club's leading attackers with 5 goals and 3 assists, has been attracting increasing interest, especially from Belgium, with Paris's agent Kevin Cowan predicts a summer move for the 22-year-old. Based on the calls I have been receiving from clubs across Europe, it is highly probable Kaheem Paris will transfer this summer. The majority of the interest is from the Belgian top flight. There has also been a few inquiries from Switzerland, but with the success of Kaheem in the first part of the season and the footprint Jamaicans have made in Belgium, they are tracking him very closely, he said. Inquiries started in the January transfer window, but no offer met the club's evaluation. The club is also in a very promising position to win the league and the cup and advance to Europe, and is very reluctant to let go of its star player with so much at stake. Now, FC Copper are very keen to have the player until the end of the season because they are fighting for the title and they are in the cup semi-finals. They believe they have a good opportunity with Paris to win the league and qualify for the Champions League's playoffs or go into the Europa Conference League playoffs, said Cowan. It will take approximately €1 million to get the deal done, and based on his performances in the second half of the season, that could increase, he noted. According to Cohen, Paris may have to improve his physicality to better assimilate to the demands of the Belgian top flight. The Belgian league is very physical, so transition could be tricky. The technical side and the tactical awareness are no issue, but the league is very demanding physically. We'll have a nutrition and strength program for him to follow closely in the preseason. The club which the player joins, we will have a discussion with them to help his transition a smooth one, he said. He added that the player was disappointed not to be a part of the Gold Cup tournament or the World Cup qualifying, but is still very motivated to make an impression with the national team. He says even though he has been overlooked by the national team, he is still hoping to impress. Paris wants to play for the national team. He was disappointed not to be involved in the Gold Cup and the World Cup qualification. He's a competitor who believes in himself, and he has been waiting patiently for them to call on him so we can show them that he has something to contribute, said Cohen. So we're trying to keep it positive here, all right? Good news. This is a good look for Kaheem Paris in terms of his career. The Belgian league would be a good step up. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Remember guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. All right, Wade, welcome back.
What's
bro.
up?
All right, big up to all the viewers. Thank you for joining me. One thing is glaringly obvious after this failed World Cup mission, and it's been a running theme since probably before the Gold Cup. It's a lack of cohesion. Team has no chemistry. The Reggae Boys have no rhythm. Pun intended. You know?
Them offbeat, bro. For sure. Man. It's not reggae.
It has improved under Paul Hall, like the ball play, ball retention, those things. I definitely think that if they can stick with Paul Hall, they will improve. I think some of the better football that we have seen out of Jamaica in years is these last probably 4 games. Although the results aren't there. Some of the same old mistakes. But looking past that, it's a team that hasn't gelled. It's a constantly shifting team. You'll have one squad for one set of one window, and then the next window a different set of players, or players that you would deem important and you would want in your squad throughout the whole campaign, or only in it for 1 or 2 windows. So you can't really get a feel for your teammates or work on a proper strategy.
Or know how they're going to react in a game, you know.
Yeah.
You need to learn the little nuances, you know, how they like to collect the ball, how them like to make them run, how them like to run off the defender.
Yeah.
You know.
The coach, I think, basically is doing what he can with what he has. Like I said before, I think with given time, I would expect better results. He had, like he said, he had some time with some youngsters and prepare them for Peru. Much younger, much less experienced than, say, his 23-man squad that he brought into the actual World Cup qualifiers. And the ball movement, the type of ball that they played was very impressive from the youngsters. A lot of local players and such. We went into the Mexico game where he didn't have that much time with the players, and we saw like a 2-day camp where we didn't see the cohesion that was there in the first half of that Peru game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It was very disjointed for most of the match, even though we took the lead. In the second half, we scored early, but we still didn't manage to hold off the game, even though we played majority of the game with 10 men, right? Panama, slight improvement. Away game, so it's always going to be a tough game. But they went down there and they scored 2 goals. Took the lead again, not able to maintain the lead. You know what I mean? Went down 3-1, then scored the second, the consolation. Then against Costa Rica, we saw a totally dominant Jamaica in the first half, completely dominant. For probably most of the match, Costa Rica probably had 2 or 3 shots. You know what I mean? Jamaica just doesn't have that cohesion to win these matches. They had many chances, played good football for the majority of it, moved the ball well, played out from the back, something I haven't seen them do ever. You know what I mean? The coach made a bold decision to drop Damian Noah and bring in the youngster Richard King, who he played for the first time in the Peru game, who looked very good. He played a back 3, you know what I mean? Willing to change it up. Ethan Pinnock looked good in the back 3 with Mariappa and Richard King. We see young Javane Brown coming in to replace Alvas Powell, who's the conditioning alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Him have over Alvas, because Alvas gets injured almost every game. We saw a Taxi replaced by Greg Lee. Greg Lee played an excellent game today, especially in the first half. Costa Rica had no answer for him. You know what I mean? Ravel came in and the ball moved well. But a lot of these players were not consistently in the team. Javane Brown just came in like the last window or the window before. Greg Lee was nowhere to be seen, although he might have been injured. Ravel is called now and then. We hear a lot of personal issues with the coach before favorites being played. But just watching this window, even though the results didn't go Jamaica's way, which I really did not expect them to do. I expected them to do well in the Mexico match. I think they could have beaten Mexico. I think they could have beaten Costa Rica. But chances, lack of cohesion meant that a better prepared team would have qualified for the World Cup. This same set of players, better prepared, would have qualified for the World Cup. So I think I'm going to ask you this. Do you feel the Gold Cup was wasted?
I just don't think it was used efficiently.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about during that period, there was a lot of problems with the JFF and not bringing players in and working out their permits, or actually having discussions with them and their team to let them know what their plans are, how they plan to unroll things, you know, not helping players with documentation. And you know, this is where, well, we've always been complaining about the JFF comes into play. This is where they let down Theodore Whitmore.
Yeah.
Right? Because not saying that Whitmore was the right man for the job, but he probably could have qualified for the World Cup with this team if there was better cohesion, if there was better logistics and less strain on the team. And I think people have to remember, when we talk about a football team nowadays, it's not just the players on the pitch, it's every single body involved, the kit man, you know, the physios, everybody plays a very important role. You know, the personal assistants who run around find.
I agree with you on that, Wade. But where I disagree with you is I don't think Theodore Whitmore had the capacity to qualify this team for the World Cup. Because where I blame, hold on, part of being prepared falls on the coach.
I don't disagree.
Why I said that? When I see the difference in how Paul Hall prepares the team, and then I look back at how Theodore prepared his team, and even some of the players that Paul Hall has brought into the team, who are local products, some of them might not be playing local now. Richard King is playing local, and has shown them faith, and they have performed well. I think some people would have thought that Tapa would be more biased towards local players, but I think he was biased to certain local players. You understand me? I think Definitely. He had his favorites, and that cost us.
But I think that you can say that about any coach.
Yeah, and his lack of tactics and preparation. Because when you see how the same set of players control the ball, move the ball, approach the game, I think is what they need now is time under Paul Hall.
Definitely.
Paul Hall another tournament.
I can agree with you 100%. But what I am really looking at,
not necessarily another World Cup tournament if he doesn't perform, but give him till probably another Gold Cup. Let's see what he does with the Nations League, what him can find out there, because I think the Nations League is a good opportunity to find the young players to go forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's see what he can do with another Gold Cup.
Well, I mean, I don't want to keep Theodore's out of the position now. I don't want to keep flogging a dead horse. And like I said, I definitely agree that he was not the right man for the job. But I don't want it to distract from the point of the cohesion and the failure on the JFF.
Yeah.
To facilitate that. And I would also want to say, if there was a strong, cohesive, comfortable, well-oiled machine, I would still think, I'm still going to say it would be possible for Theodore to have qualified. Why I say this is because now we'd have a team fighting as well as, you know, yes, we'd have I don't want to say incompetent, but let us say, you know, incapable tactics of Whitmore, but with a team that's cohesive, understands the weaknesses of each other, starting to compensate for that, and maybe even if a team is if a team can be so cohesive, it can know when to work around the coach's tactics.
You know what I think it is? Whitmore probably know what he wanted to do in his head, but his inability to communicate,
to articulate it,
obvious, which is very obvious to even how he communicated in a press conference or whatever. Compared to how someone like Paul Hall is able to bring across to even a journalist or answer a simple question or how he wants to do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It translates to a team as well when you have to talk to a room full of younger gentlemen and explain to them how they need to do things as a unit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You have to be a good communicator and a teacher as a coach. Also a good organizer. Now, at the end of the day, yes, JFF have to take them beating because they are complicit. But if you are going to organize a team, why would you be trying to bring in Kevin Stewart and young man from Everton, Demari Gray at this point? Them man, they should have the thing from before.
Long time.
You know what I mean?
which speaks back to cohesion. You know,
Yeah.
you're not even if a man not gonna play and he rub on the bed, just bring everybody together one time. Everybody get to know everybody.
Yeah, man.
You know.
I tell you, you can't. We're putting the pieces together during the competition. The pieces should have been put together from before. We should have we already went through the Gold Cup and saw that there are certain deficiencies in the team. If you dribble down Jamaica's right side and put a cross in, probably on your second or third attempt, you're going to score. We've seen it happen over and over. When teams get desperate against us, they dribble at the right back, put a crossover, especially if it's Alvas at play. You understand? I think that is why even in that final match, they didn't start Damian Lowe neither. Because
fear for the cross.
That cross always seems to catch Damian Lowe out at the end of the game. And two, Damian Lowe is an excellent tackler, good defender, but ball distribution is poor. You understand? I think we saw today Jamaica play out at the back. I haven't seen them do that ever. With Richard King and Tinger on either side. And I must say Richard King is a gem of a player. He was on one side of Mariappa and Ethan Pinnock was on the other side of Mariappa. And one is a Jamaica Premier League player and one is an English Premier League player. And you could hardly tell the difference. You understand? That's how talented that young man is.
In all fairness though, King has a couple of years at Mariappa though.
King?
Yeah, no?
No man, King is a little youth.
That's what I'm talking about. Young youth is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. Mariappa old man. Mariappa is probably one of the players.
Right.
Big up Mariappa.
More senior players.
Yeah, but Mariappa probably is on his last cycle.
Right. That's right. That's exactly what I'm.
So seeing a Richard King step in now is definitely a positive thing. You know what I mean? I think we need one or two more young defenders. If we can find them local base, that is good. You know what I mean? We also have a couple out there on the the English the championship. There's one in particular where I hope the GFF would probably try approach and try get him while I'm young. But I'm not going to call on name. But yeah, there are positives coming out of that last window. I think me and you, Wade, already said this World Cup qualifications was over from probably 2 windows ago. But positives. I like the change in coach. I think it should have happened before they went into the qualifiers, but I like the change in coach. I think he's a fair coach. When I see him give certain players a chance, you know what I mean? So yeah. I like what I see from the coach. Final thoughts, Wade?
I think we didn't do Paul Hall, JFF again. Sorry to be bashing JFF, but I deserve it. Paul Hall was not done any favors by the JFF in throwing him in at the last moment of the competition. And his record now is 1-3, no?
Yeah.
And that's not good. I don't think, and I think that's also again a lack of the poor planning by them. And I want us to really focus on that, and we really need to start holding the JFF accountable and stop letting them allow to scapegoat these younger coaches. I mean, I know we already established that Theodore was not the right man, but I can't keep stressing that he was not given the right tools and support to do the job.
Yeah.
So his failure was even predetermined.
Yeah. I think a lot of us didn't go into the start of the World Cup qualifications very confident.
Positive, yeah.
I was more positive before the Gold Cup, but then when I saw how the team played in the Gold Cup, when I saw how certain players looked like totally out of place, you know what I mean? Certain players that we know are a lot more capable. I knew it was a system problem. For example, I guarantee you Leon Bailey will play better under Paul Hall. You know what I mean? It's just the knowledge as a coach. I can see the difference in just having the coaching badges and having that education behind it and understanding the game or taking the time to learn the game at that level. It makes a difference.
Definitely. And I think that's also, you touch on something when you mentioned Leon Bailey's name. I think that's all JFF did.
Turn up your mic a little.
I think that's all JFF did to kind of shift the attention on them by allowing, the acquisition of these big name players like a Michail Antonio, like a Leon Bailey. I think that kind of papered over the cracks and boosted the lack of confidence that was there, that we saw running up into this World Cup campaign. And it's really sad because this is probably one of the best times to have qualified for the World Cup, with a weakened Mexico, a weakened USA, and all the minnows around us fighting it out and stripping points from each other. So it was a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, let's be honest. You look at the difference between a Canada and a Jamaica. It's not the talent pool, It's just the organization and a respect for the competition and your opponents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Canada have 1 and 2 players where of recognition, just like Jamaica. You know what I mean? It's not a team full of stars per se.
Definitely not.
But they are a good team, and it's probably the team where I want to see them at the World Cup. And if they make it to the World Cup, I'm going to follow them and hope the best for them. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let's face it, out of the CONCACAF right now, they probably are the ones looking the best to go farther into the World Cup competition.
Yeah.
We're speaking about form right now.
Yeah.
Because the USA and Mexico are always sleeping giants. They can always pull something out.
Yeah, but look at what Canada did to the USA the other day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it is, and they did it to Mexico. You know what I mean? Yeah. Beat them. I tell you, a lot of these teams aren't unbeatable. There's no real superpower in a CONCACAF. Anybody can take anybody's scalp. It's just that a lot of the teams aren't what they used to be, or they're not ready to take advantage of the opportunity like a Jamaica. A Costa Rica isn't what they used to be. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, look at Costa Rica, Honduras, and El Salvador. Those are teams that traditionally perform better. Costa Rica has turned their form around, perform better than how they perform. To be honest with you, it should have been Panama, Jamaica, and Canada as the uncertainties in the group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to show you how Canada and Panama are performing, the group is there for the taking. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the internet was dropped on me.
Yeah. All right, my boy. I'm gonna wrap it up there.
All right.
Because it look like Flo will mash up the progress. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Wade, thanks for joining me. You don't know. Disappointing outcome to everything, but we move. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I'll be there to watch the last round of games. You know what I mean? We'll just be playing for pride and
to critique Mr. Hall. We have to watch his progress now. It's very important. He's going to be the mainstay right now in the team.
Yeah.
It's personnel. It's going to be a lot of them is going to be the last time we'll probably see them.
Yeah.
So this is about Mr. Hall and his progression, and hopefully, he can regain the confidence of the nation.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, Mr. Hall.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to leave it right there. Remember, like, subscribe, and stay tuned.